Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with Arthur. Pastor, it's been a long time since we've seen each other. How long has it been?
Well, I think since 2021, I would say,
Yeah, yes,
because
physically.
yeah, that was during the craziness of lockdowns, and I got in prison, believe it or not, told me to go to America and to warn the American people. I'll never forget that moment, of course. And if people are interested, it's in my book. I wrote a book in prison in solitary confinement. Lions Do Not Bow, and you can get it on Amazon.com, Amazon.ca. But I remember I was imprisoned with my brother David for hosting a church service. Out of all the crimes, was charged with David for organizing an illegal gathering, participating in illegal gathering, and officiating an illegal gathering. Of course, after I was charged dozens and dozens of times of ridiculous charges. Ultimately, as you know, I was charged with terrorism for a sermon to the truckers during the truck convoy, and I was convicted. I was sentenced. I was imprisoned for that sermon, where 3 times I told the Canadian people to stay peaceful, no guns, no swords. I reminded them about the history of Poland, the Solidarity movement. But going back to where we've met, we were in prison with my brother David, and we just got back from court where we were shackled like animals and taken before the crooked judge. The judge's name is Adam Germain, and that's all of the details and the names of those crooked people is in my book, Lions Do Not Bow. But I, we were taken there, shackled with my brother David, and we are sitting over there, and the judge starts the proceedings by quoting the CBC and CNN. I just couldn't believe it. We are in the middle of this pandemic, blah, 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 blah. And he's just like, I turned to my brother David and I said, this guy has nothing to do with law and order. This is a political operative. I mean, this guy works for CNN. He is not a judge. It's a political advocate, this guy.
Yeah, and if I can interject real quick, Pastor Arthur is a pastor in Canada who was dealing with back in the COVID days, which we now finally can say, was being told not to have a service, and the Gestapo, the Canadian Gestapo, came in and went after him, arrested him, and you still does the struggle continue? I mean, the COVID thing is pretty much gone. They're already talking about some new viruses getting released from China or something. But what is the situation now on the ground in Canada with what we're
Uh,
dealing
it,
with?
it, Nothing changed. Like I said at the
Nothing.
very beginning, we are truly living behind the Iron Curtain under the boots of a hybrid fascist, communist, socialist, globalists that are telling you you will own nothing and you will be happy, right? While they are accumulating the biggest amounts of wealth that this earth has ever seen. But let me finish what happened in jail, because I think it's important for the American people to hear this again. When I was there for the bogus charges of being, charged with criminal offenses for just doing my job as a pastor, my brother David talked to me after we were taken back to jail from seeing that crooked judge, Adam Germain. And he said to me, Art, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I have no idea. I mean, I've never seen corruption at this level in this country. I mean, those judges are crooks, they're liars. The police officers are not acting as the law enforcement agencies, they are gangsters in uniform. And that's why I call them Gestapo, because Gestapo simply means, from the time of the Nazi era, it means political police. They were not here to enforce the law, they were here to subdue the people,
Hmm.
to put them in their place, under the wishes of corrupted politicians. So that's why I call them, and now I laugh, I call them by their proper pronouns. But when I was sitting in prison with David and he asked me that question, I took a step back and I said, David, I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. I guess I need to take a step back and go to America and let the American people know what is happening because they're next. And the message did not change, William. The message is still the same. The nation of Canada has fallen. And I mean, that's a given. Canada has fallen. Don't kid yourself. We have Chinese troops being trained by the Canadian Armed Forces in Alberta, in British Columbia. Your rightful president, Donald J. Trump, is right if it comes to the threat from the north and the fentanyl, because 99% of the ships that are coming to Canada are not even inspected. So it's like an open door of never ending flow of drugs, illegal immigrants, terrorists. And of course, as you know, thousands of terrorists are crossing the borders from Canada to United States. Americans have been focused on the southern border so much that they missed the boat, in my opinion, not recognizing the threat from the north. You're being attacked from every angle. And why is that? Because America is a symbol, and the enemy always goes after the symbols. And I remember I boarded the plane during the time that no one was allowed to fly, but God told me to go. So I bought tickets with me and
Being
my
obedient.
son Nathaniel, you've met, and off we went to America. And by the miracle of God, we were allowed to enter and fly, which was like a ghost town at that time. We were pretty much
Yeah.
alone in the entire plane. It was crazy. It was surreal. But I remember when I prayed in that plane and I said, "What do you want me to tell the American people?" And he said to me, as clearly as you can hear my voice, this is what he said: "Tell this great American eagle that it's time for that eagle to rise up once again and start flapping its wings." And I was shocked because God recognizes the America as a nation that stood for what's right before, and he wants the American people to do it again, not just with your lips, but with your works, with your deeds.
Their
So
actions.
the actions, right? America is very important in this fight against the globalist agenda, the 2030 agenda, whatever you want to call it, the WEF garbage, and you will own nothing and you will be happy. Idea 15-minute cities that are being already implemented in Canada as we speak right now. So it's very important because if America goes down, if this great American eagle goes down, so goes the free world. And we're going to head into a revolution, into a war, third
Right.
war. So what Donald J. Trump, your president, is doing is right. Sometimes he's misunderstood. Sometimes people don't understand because they don't have enough information to what's really going on. But I can testify to you that when he speaks about the threat from the northern border, it's real. When he's saying that fentanyl comes from the north, that's true. And it's happening every single day. So,
What? Let me interject the question. Why do you think the Canadian government is not handling it? Are they doing anything about the border, their southern border or northern border? Is the Canadian government doing anything to stop this? What you're talking about with the
no,
with the
no,
no?
no. I just watched an interview from a guy that lives at the border, and he says the flow is steady. So illegals are coming from the northern border, and they're bringing fentanyl and of course human trafficking and children and a lot of stuff is happening on a regular on a daily basis. So they
But the
never
U.S. is
stop.
not doing anything on the southern or northern border, is what you're
The
saying.
government is not doing anything. The Canadian government is not doing anything. And the American government is so entangled with so many other fights that they just don't have enough manpower because the border is huge. It's one of the biggest, if not the biggest on earth, between America and Canada. So
Yeah.
you're in a big trouble. We have already been subdued, and that's a sad part. Canadians are already living in a soft totalitarian regime, if you will, police state. I don't know if you're watching Canadian news, but the big news right now is about the climate. That one of the premier is like your governor, just outlawed going to the wilderness. You're not allowed to go to the parks. You're not allowed to go to the forest. You're not allowed to go anywhere outside because of the climate, because of the fires, and that's how they are spinning. And if you do go into the wilderness, if you go on a hike, if you go for a walk with your dog in a forest, it's $25,000 a penalty. So I said it from the very beginning, and I'm going to say it again. Those people have no intention of stopping. They have no intention of stopping. They will keep pouncing on us until they win, until they break us. That's why it's so important for the people to get the right information. That's why I wrote a book in prison giving people history. Because what we're witnessing right now, William, is a repetition of history. We've seen this before. Nothing is new under the sun, the Bible says. We dealt with wannabe pharaohs before, with tyrants before, with dictators before, and what we are dealing with right now is a repetition of history. So those people also have a book, and they are copy and pasting how to become a tyrant on a global scale. Why is this so dangerous, and why this message is important is because when I was growing up with my wife behind the Iron Curtain under the boots of the Soviets, we were looking at the West for the West to come to the rescue. So we had a sliver of hope that somewhere outside of the Iron Curtain there is life, there is freedom, there is hope. But right now what those people are doing, they are trying to subdue the entire globe, the whole world. So it's not just here and then outside of here is freedom. They want to enslave humanity on a global scale, and that's what they're doing. And it's actually shocking to me to watch all of this unfolding because they have bought and paid for judges, district attorneys, politicians globally. Globally. This is not just a Canadian problem. It's not just like the Polish problem. Is a global problem. That's why we, the people, must rise up, stand up, and fight this. And your president is trying his best, but he's just one man. Without the support of the people, one man, one administration cannot do it. One party cannot do it. I mean, the enemy is so powerful and well funded. And that's another thing, William, that how they are trying to destroy us. They're trying to destroy us with a fake fiat currency that they are printing at will. So what is happening right now, they are using a money from air that doesn't exist, and they are bribing the very people that are hunting us down and attacking us. They're doing it with the Babylonian system, with the Persian Roman, revived Roman Empire, whatever you want to call it, with this Whore of Babylon's system, the Babylonian system. So the remedy to that is also what I watched growing up, in the 80s in Poland under the banner of the Solidarity movement, where the people stood up and said enough is enough, and they were willing to pay the price. They took it to the streets, and they invited God. They brought the cross. They were chanting, "We want God," against the tanks and the machine guns. And as you know from history, with the help of United States of America and the famous, of course, statement, a speech from Ronald Reagan when he stood in front of the Iron Curtain, the wall, and he said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." Well, we were on the other side of that wall with my wife, and with a combination of things, support from the West and the people willing to pay the price and rise up in Poland, Iron Curtain was broken, Berlin Wall has fallen, and Europe was liberated. We need the same type of movement. Again, we the people, with a powerful God, we can win. So information is very important. When I was in the business, we had this saying, that information is more valuable than money. Why? Because if you have the right information, making money is actually very easy if you know where to invest,
Right.
whom to invest, what to buy. So, what God is telling me to do is keep giving the information to the American people, actually to the whole world, because if you know what's really going on, you will be able to counter attack this agenda. Carney, the so-called Prime Minister of Canada, has not won the election. We believe that he has been appointed by the globalists. It was given to him, a person that did not even live in Canada. He lived in United States, believe it or not.
Right.
It's the very man that destroyed Bank of England. Came to Canada, worked for Trudeau, then moved to United States. He's a billionaire, and he moved all of his money away from Canada, and then suddenly he wins. No, no, he has been placed for this position to finish Canada off. So,
I found it odd that they are going to support the Palestinian state, talking about that, getting involved in the Israeli conflict war with Gaza. And I believe that emboldened Hamas to not negotiate with it because of one of them being one of the countries saying that they'll recognize the Palestinian state. What do you think?
while it's a treason, if I was the king, those people would be charged with treason. Canada, Canadian government is endorsing Hamas. It's endorsing terrorist organizations, and this is nothing new. It's not. It didn't happen with this conflict. Canadian government steadily, for a number of years, is supporting actively and giving money to terrorist organizations. We had a dozen members of parliament that were caught with colluding with the Chinese government against Canada and against America. So this is nothing new. It didn't happen just a couple of weeks ago. This is a steady attack on democracy, steady attack on America that is coming from the Canadian government. So you should pay attention because your eyes are so focused on the southern border, and you might be attacked from the northern border if you're not careful. Because we have to understand that Donald Trump is here for a few years, and then who is going to replace him? What is going to happen when he goes? Are you going to elect a good man that has similar policies to Donald J. Trump? Or perhaps they're going to rig the elections
Mm.
again like they did in 2020, and you're going to have another rogue, woke traitor to the American people that will finish you off, just like our traitors are finishing us off. A little bit of facts, because people say, well, you're just ranting, it's not based on facts. So let me give you some facts. What is happening when you have a rogue, woke government? In the province of Alberta, which is north of Montana, from where you're sitting, we are actually sleeping on oil. We have more oil than
Mhm.
Saudi Arabia. We have natural resources. Alberta could, with the right leadership, become the richest region in North America. We used to be called, Calgary, where I live, we used to be called the hub of energy because the money was flowing. And literally, we have billions upon billions, trillions of dollars worth of energy. Natural gas, we've got forestry, of course, we've got farming industry, tens of hundreds of thousands of cows and farming and wheat. I mean, we are the breadbasket of the world, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. But listen to the statistics. 50% of Canadians and 50% of Albertans are struggling to pay their bills. Alberta, within the Confederation, is in a worst financial state because we have the biggest defaulting, and this is statistics right now I'm talking, we have the biggest defaulting on credit cards, line of credits, and other means to borrow money. Albertans are in a worst shape. Why is that? Because the Canadian government, including the so-called conservative government in Alberta, is taxing us to death. We pay over 50% in taxes right now in Canada, and every single day, every single year, they are raising the taxes. We pay already over 100 taxes, hidden tax. So, for example, you've got income tax, you've got federal tax, you've got provincial tax, you've got property tax, you've got road tax, you've got, I mean, whatever you can think of, they're taxing us, including,
And you're getting taxed on everything you buy.
yes. So not only I already paid taxes on my dollar, now what's left over is being taxed multiple times, over 100 taxes, including a tax to go to the forest. So can you believe it? I pay taxes for forestry, I pay taxes for parks, but if I want to go to Kananaskis, I have to pay additional tax to the government. Fishing tax, hunting tax, wilderness tax. So if I want to take my daughter to the wilderness with me hunting, I have to buy and pay a tax for her. So she's not doing anything. She's just with me, but I have to pay a special tax for her as well. This is what is happening. I mean, we are being wiped out. Canada has fallen. Canadian system has fallen. Education system, we no longer educate people. We have one of the lowest standards if it comes to education in the world. We don't educate children anymore. We indoctrinate them. And the most important thing in Canada is the gender craziness, the homosexuality, all those different things. They're teaching in universities, in the schools, that whatever you feel like, if you feel like a kitty, well, we will provide you with a litter. And they are teaching those kids, left and right. Of course, we don't have independent media anymore. All of it is bought and paid by the government.
Ours too.
Government, media, which is parroting each other. I mean, if you look at the Canadian media, it's copy paste. I mean, the same articles. Maybe sometimes editors will change the title, but the body is the same thing. It's the same spin. They are cooking news. They are not giving us the news. They're cooking. They're making stuff up all the time, the mainstream media. So we have propaganda. Also, banking system. We are being literally wiped out. And the newest thing is when you go to the bank and you want to withdraw your money, well, you cannot do this. You think that the money that you have deposited in the bank account is yours. Think twice. If you want to withdraw a bigger amount of money, and I'm not talking about $1 million, I'm not talking about $100,000, I'm not even talking about $10,000. I think the limit in some banks is $2,000 or $3,000. If you want to take more than that, you have to make an appointment, and they will tell you, no, we cannot give it to you right now. This is a total crazy control at every aspect of our lives. And of course, they're implementing 15-minute cities in Canada. They're building ring roads around. They will be able to very easy shut down the entire municipalities. And they're moving with this agenda. So when God spoke to me all those years ago when we've met, that tell this great American eagle that it's time for that eagle to rise up once again. God is telling you, you've done it before and it's time for you to do it again. If you choose not to, which there is always that option, you can always say
Be
no,
free will.
right? You can always
Right.
say no to God. You will be subdued. You will be destroyed. Because right now, the way I see it, God has given you a window of opportunity. He has given you a window of time to get ready, to prepare, not to waste your
Yeah.
resources, to invest your resources, to get a land, to put a community of people together, because we don't know what is going to happen in 3 years. And time goes fast, as you know. We've met,
Oh man,
right, 4 years ago, and it's like, wow, it feels like it was yesterday.
it
And
does.
and you ask, is our life different right now? No, we still have political prisoners from that era. The people that we marched with, the people that we stood during the truck convoy, are still rotting in prison as we speak right now. We got political dissidents in prison right.
Political prisoners in Canada.
Yes, and Christians are under attack left and right. Sean Foyt, I don't know if you were paying attention to the story. Your singer, one of your own American, came to Canada to worship. I mean, not a big deal. He's done it before. I had him at my March for Jesus before in 2013. We met last year. We had him in Calgary, and not a big deal. A guy is singing, right? It's worship, it's church service. Well, the Canadian government disagrees because they say he is a MAGA singer, so he supports his president, and that's unacceptable for Canadian government. And they deplatformed here. They
Mm.
canceled his permits. They didn't allow him to perform, and the church in Montreal, in Quebec, one of the provinces here, fined church for hosting Sean Foyt $2,500 ticket for having a worship service
Wow.
with a
Wow.
wrong character, the one that they don't love.
Right.
Also,
So,
we had, yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, go ahead. Well, in closing, because is it ridiculous and would it be bad for America for Canada to become the 51st state? I know he's joking about that, but I also think there's a element of truth about
I don't think,
inviting
William, I
Canada
don't
to
think
be.
he's joking. I think he's communicating. I think he knows really what's going on in this country, and he is just talking to Canadians. You have been subdued, you're enslaved. If you need liberation, let us know, and we will come and we will liberate you. I think that's what he is saying. Many
Yeah.
people hate him for it, but people like me, we understand the language. We understand what he's trying to tell us. And he's right. He's right. We need liberation. Canada
Yeah.
is gone. Canada has fallen. We have rogue woke traitors that should be charged with treason. So right now, as we stand today, pastors are imprisoned, whistleblowers are imprisoned, political dissidents are imprisoned. I'm still in court. That's why I talk to the American people, my friends. Please help us if you can, because I just faced 8 lawyers against our lawyers in court, and I was hammered 2 weeks ago with $17,000 penalty. So we are, for us, William, nothing changed. We're still in the
Wow.
fight. We're still in the trenches. And if you want to support us, please do go to streetchurch.ca, streetchurch.ca, and please support us and get a book so you will know what is really going on in this country. Lions do not bow. This book, William, has been confiscated by the Canadian government already
Wow.
3 times. 3 times they confiscated my book, and we had to send it to the American publisher to publish. So,
It's like 1941. It's like 1941 again, or was it 39 when they were doing the book burnings
yeah,
in
yeah, I mean,
Germany?
it's a repetition of history. It's a
Wow.
Nazi communist hybrid that we are witnessing right now, and it's very
Well,
serious for us.
yeah, and maybe I mean Canada's got to choose to become the 51st state. We can't just take you guys. I mean, we could,
Well,
but
let me tell you this. Statistically, 45% of Canadians will gladly take it.
really,
Yes, a huge number of Canadians would love to become Americans. So the number is rising. The more those crooks are subduing us, enslaving us, the more people are realizing we need liberation. We actually need liberation. And
wow.
the eyes are on America. We are looking at America and we're saying, we're standing, we're holding, we're fighting, but we need your support. Like my
Do-
brother David says, we're in the trenches and we have no problem shooting at the Nazis, but we need someone to supply us with the bullets, figuratively speaking, of course.
Yeah, I don't know if the algorithm on YouTube might have picked that up. It could be trouble. YouTube is not friendly to me. I've got X. I've got like 40,000 views on a video, and on YouTube with my 157,000 following at the moment during this recording, I get 90 views. So they're doing everything they can to suppress. I'm pretty sure I'm getting the views because of the feedback I'm getting. They're
Yes.
just not showing it because they don't want us to make money. But with Canada, it really kind of what you're telling me is a national security situation along that whole border, which has got to be motivating President Trump. And the more we succeed, it's got to be more and more attractive to Canadians, where they could do a vote and choose to become the 51st state. Is that
Yeah.
is that how it
Every
works?
province and every territory within the Constitution has the right for a referendum. We can become an independent state or province. We can join. We can become our own country. So we have that right, but there is very little willingness from the political area, of course,
No,
area to do that. But we, the
of
people,
course,
we are rising up. There is a huge sentiment. You got two parties. One wants to join America and become the 51st state. Others want to become independent, away from Canada. So the sentiment is here, and we'll see how everything unfolds. But I'm telling you, Americans should pay attention to what's happening in Canada because it has become a threat to your security.
well, we're definitely going to keep touching base with you because you're kind of my man in Canada. I mean, my fellow brother in Christ, and you're doing great work. Support this man. He's got a heart for Christ and a heart for his people, and he's in it sounds like a like I wouldn't call it a third world country, but basically a communist state right above us.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you. And show them the book again one more time as we close, just so they can see it. Is it on Amazon?
Yeah, so I want to end on a positive note because
Oh
when
yeah.
you are with Jesus, you have already won. The enemy just doesn't know it yet. And we know how the story, William, ends. We win in the end because with God, you have already won. So the book is called Lions Do Not Bow. That's why I call this book because we are the sons and the daughters of the lion from the tribe of Judah. And lions do not bow before hyenas. We good men will refuse to bow before a wicked man like Mordecai refused to bow before Haman. So you can get the book on Amazon.com if you're in the United States. You can get the book in Canada, Amazon.ca. And from my distribution network as well. So get a copy. There's a lots of information there. I'm naming the villains, the judges, the crooked politicians, and I'm giving you a lot of insight of what's coming, the prophecies that God has given us, what is about to happen, the economy's collapse, a recession, a depression that will be worse than 2029 to 2039, and also lots of messages from heaven and a lot of history for you to be encouraged because in the end of the day, we've seen this before. And if we do the right thing with God, we also will see the victory like the previous generations that walked before us. So be encouraged. With God, you cannot lose.
That was a great way to end on a positive note. Follow this man. Put a link. I'll put the name of his account and everything on X and whatever account you choose. I appreciate you, Arthur. Do me a favor. Do one spelling of your name because it might help out with them trying to find you as an Arthur. Spell out your full name.
Yeah, it's Artur Pawlowski, Artur, and the last name is Pawlowski.
And someday I'll be able to pronounce your last name. Thank you, Arthur, and God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you.